September 2015, the United Nations made the history when 193 member states unanimously adopted 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, that serve as a center case that post 2015 development agenda, and we are reporting 7 to 12 goals as.
Good evening. I'm Kevin B. APIGO, and my topic is about affordable and clean energy. It it has been addressed that one of the concerning problems on working towards sustainability is that poor areas are lacking on access towards energy supply. If you were to glide through the articles published by the United Nations, you would probably see that the concern arose from sub-Sahara Africa. Little did we know that some places in the Philippines also suffer the same. Just as, for instance, there are several articles in the 2022 which stated that there is still around 14 to 30% of the Filipino families, particularly residing in sitios, from the remote areas such as some sitios in Samar, Bohol, Palawan, and Batangas, who still has an unsecured access to energy. Thus, in order to create a progress towards the availability of clean energy, it is suggested that the government works through the international cooperation to advance the access of remote areas towards renewable bioenergy to ensure not just a clean but also affordable energy service. Thank you.
My name is Mark Christian ONGAYO and my topic is decent work and economic growth. Economic growth can create new and better job opportunities while also increasing economic security for all. Furthermore, rapid growth, particularly among the least developed and developing countries, can help them close the wage gap with developed countries, reducing stark inequalities between rich and poor. Also, the natural environment plays an important role in supporting economic activities. Thus, protecting the environment is critical to achieving long-term economic growth. Sustainable development requires sustained and inclusive economic growth which can contribute to improved livelihoods for people all over the world. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is CECIEL, and I report about industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Living through the urban, most of us are well aware that infrastructure are concentrated on global cities while lacking on remote areas when in fact most of these are necessities for convenient and improved mobilities of lives and economic activities. Imagine some places in the Philippines are still inaccessible for roads and infrastructural hubs of economic activities, electricity, water, and sanitation remains scarce. As a matter of fact, this is the reason why our agricultural activities, which was supposedly our for remain stagnant with little or less progress due to some places that lacks on access to industrial processing of the raw products. With that, it is suggested that regulation and standard to promote better means of living be created to advance infrastructural project with collaboration to non-government organization to pursue wider access and availability of sustainable industries.
I am LEMUEL MASANGCAY and my topic is reduce inequalities. A study conducted by the Child Fund International Organization has proven that Philippines is one of the countries who suffer on the root of social evil, the inequality. Tension that root from socioeconomic inequality made the bridge of the gaps a paradox, and it was greatly unveiled through the existence of the pandemic. Exploitation, wealth gaps, unemployment, and numerous crises were intentionally mobilized by inequality. Society in the Philippines is undeniably vulnerable on accepting equal capacities regardless of gender, age, sexuality, and physical attributes. That is suggested that corporate and public laws should eliminate discriminating practices, policies, laws, and regulations to put an end on the damage and setbacks of growth that was brought by the conflicts on inequality. Next po.
Good evening. My name is Felicity Flores. I'm going to report about sustainable cities and communities. Some of us must have been able to watch documentaries such as Front Row and Reporter's Notebook via various media platforms. Thus, you should have been exposed to the awful truth that slums really do exist on some communities on various countries and even in the Philippines. You must have seen communities that are substantially affected by the neglect or poor urban planning, which results to further problems concerning health, disaster preparedness, overpopulation, and worse, poverty. With that, it is suggested that the government and those concerned of authority to create proper planning that will mitigate the risks associated to improper human settlement, uphold resource efficiency, sustainable means of living to contribute on mitigation and adaptation on climate change. As a result, by the time the plans are done, communities should be able to have an adequate access towards safe and affordable housing basic needs.
Good evening. I am ANDREI Valderama. The topic I am going to report is the Sustainable Goal 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. Abuse of natural resources nowadays is as sick as it seems to be unforbidden. We are consuming beyond what the planet can provide us, and in return, we seem to be comfortable knowing that soon then, it will be our turn to suffer on scarcity, drought, and shortage on some agricultural products that are supposedly abundant considering the nature of tropical country like Philippines is just one of several proofs that the nature has already been depleted due to abuses brought by the capitalist and businessman that has a wounded nature of greed, truly a pursuit of vile maxim. But do we all know that scholarly studies were so persistent on instilling to us that the 12th goal is not solely lying on the hands of the government and policymakers, rather the civil society has to participate on taking action. Let us keep in mind that regardless of the availability of financial resources that we have to pay our utility bills and necessities, we could lose access on our necessities if we run out of it. By that time, our money can no longer do anything. Therefore, it is suggested that we all do and implement just controls on our consumption and production, ensuring that resources are sufficient and would not be put into waste. Moreover, we should practice practical implication on consumer choices. We have to minimize the use waste of that contains chemical and substance that could potentially harm the environment. Moreover, the government, on the other hand, may promote understanding of sustainable lifestyle to mobilize knowledge toward development of efficient and environmental activities.
And that's all from our group. Let us promote a better world. Thank you.